This one piece of advice completely revolutionized the quality of my marriage and our relationship together. It was male centered, but then when I adapted it to myself as well, it improved every facet of our relationship. It's three parts. Here we go. First, it came from one of my very dear friends, an old, very wealthy German industrial man. And he gave me this piece of advice 6 weeks before I got married. He said, Vanessa, the best way to have a happy marriage, again, male centered, but there's a little caveat. Best way to have a man who will do anything you want, anytime you want it, is by doing these three things. The first thing is when your spouse comes home from work, give him 30 minutes to come in, to decompress, say hello, give him a hug and a kiss. The kids can come, hello, hug and kiss. Give him 30 minutes to come home, to decompress, to take his clothes off, to kind of change from work mode to home mode. It will improve the quality of our relationship, and the man will actually be present in his space, in his home, and being a willing participant in everything else that's going on just by giving him those 30 minutes. Two, please and thank you. Babe, would you take the garbage out? Thank you. Babe, would you mind picking this up for me? I really appreciate it. Please, could you get this for me? Thank you. Please and thank you. As Barney used to say, makes everything better, right? Please and thank you are the magic words. It shows respect. It shows that you see someone. It's you showing reciprocity by actions, not transactionals, but by somebody doing something and you saying please and thank you like you would anybody else in the street. We forget that sometimes with our relationships, especially our spouses, because they're the closest person to you. And those masks that we have when we're out in the streets and we're in best behavior, they go down when it's a person that you love the most. And sometimes, as we become more and more uncomfortable with each other, we forget those little simple things to show that you genuinely care for the other person. And a please and thank you is a very minute way of showing that. Third, quality meal, 2 or 3 home cooked meals, and 2 or 3 times affection. You know, sex, holding hands, touching, connecting. This is all a man needs to be happy. I have to say, in my marriage to my late husband, we were together for 10 years, it really evolutionized how I showed up and how he showed up for me. And I've applied the same three things in my marriage that I'm in now. We've been together for 15 years. The caveat to this male centered piece of advice is that during my first marriage, I saw how well it worked. I applied it also to myself and made sure that my spouse did the same thing with me. Sometimes in our relationships, we become so comfortable with one another that we forget those basic things. We kind of take it for granted. If you remember back when you first started dating, like there was such intentionality. You were so conscious about everything you did, about what you wore, about what you smelled like, about what you looked like. You plan things to go out when you're getting to know each other and like always putting your best foot forward. And what happens in any relationship across all mammals is you become comfortable. And when you become comfortable, you become lazy about yourself and you become lazy in your relationships. And what I have found in myself, that the more comfortable I got in my relationships, it's not that I forgot how to act and behave properly, but you kind of take it for granted. And when you take things for granted, those little tiny things that people do, you end up getting like miffed about it. And then when they continue happening, you end up building some type of resentment over the smallest things, because those small little actions of please and thank you, and 30 minutes when you come in to give space to yourself to just kind of get acclimated to where you are and to assimilate into the situation and to kind of step into the role that you're in, we forget the care for ourselves and the care for the one that we love the most. We take it for granted. And each and every one of us want to be seen and we want to be heard in our relationships. So it's the you're having a conversation with someone, with your spouse, and you're on the phone looking. You're like this saying, "Yeah, I remember. So that happened at work? Sure. That's good. So that happened with her? That's horrible. Oh my gosh." Versus, and what else happened? And asking questions and being present in the conversation. This shows the other person you are honestly engaged, you are present, you are listening, you are participating in a conversation. This does not show that you have any kind of interest in anything that's going on. And when you do that on the regular basis, I don't know about you, I would get miffed. I would be like a little bit, hello, I'm talking to you. Are you listening to me? Which is not a very nice response. It's rather reactive because you feel like you are not being seen and heard in your relationship. And these kind of acts of almost passive aggressiveness, they build up. And when they build up, you become numb and you kind of become resentful in a relationship. So, as I've moved through two marriages and have 25 years under my belt, and I've also asked this of many of my friends who've been married for 30, 40, 50 years, and they said, basically, Vanessa, what that boils down to, those three little things, is having mutual respect for one another. It's being able to give the person space and you taking space for yourself, and your person giving you space and they taking space for themselves. It's the acknowledgement of the two of you being humans in a relationship. We all have feelings and emotions. We all have thoughts. We all take actions to everything that we do. And having longevity in a relationship is growing and evolving with each other. It is calling out the things, discussing what doesn't make you feel good in that moment, and correcting the behavior, your behavior, and they correct their behavior. And that's what allows you to have a solid, committed relationship. So, that little piece of advice that I received 6 weeks before I got married to my late husband really impacted how I show up, not only for myself and my relationships, but also how I show up for my partner and give my spouse that same space and respect that I would give a total stranger in the middle of the street, because it's what I used to do at the beginning of our relationships, when you're cultivating and you're curating and you're getting to know each other and you're loving each other and you're curious and you're wanting to hear all the experiences and you want to participate. And 3, 4, 5, 6 years in, when duties and responsibilities click in and it's overwhelming and it's too much, we forget about the niceness and the softness. That little piece of advice has really brought me back to center when things are kind of going a little bit off the rails. And then to remind myself, I want to be seen and heard in my relationship. I'm certain my spouse wants to be seen and heard in our relationship. And these small little, that little point of advice about just giving each other space and time to decompress when you come home, the mutual respect of a please and a thank you when you ask something or you request something, and vice versa. And also the point of affection that lead to the sexual connection, and having 3 hot meals cooked every single week that you have together and you participate in just looking at each other, asking questions about what's going on in their everyday life, being curious about one another, not only talking about the duties and responsibilities, the bills, the kids, the schedule, but really connecting as a couple has really improved the quality of my relationship with my spouse. So I thought, you and I being here in feminine spaces, that I would share with you the things that bring great success and joy into my relationships. And I trust that whatever part of this you want to take into your own relationship and adapt and to adapt and to improve the quality of your relationship in any way, I trust it works for you as well as it has worked for me. Let's leave this.